Singularity University. We have been having a great opportunities to meet the best of the best here in California, and we visited Singularity University as the guests, and we're going to bring their professors here and speakers, so stay tuned with us. Very interesting program. It's executive program. For a week it's cost $12,000, so to be there with these students for one day, we learn a lot, and we're happy to share that with you because we would like our community become more knowledgeable, peaceful, happier, and helpful to each and every one. So Ashwin, you weren't there yet, but I went there with Lars.
Oh, really? What was it like? What did you learn?
Well, we had wonderful speakers. So one of the interesting I thought was David Roberts, and I hope he joined us after 7 weeks. That's how far in advance we scheduled already. And also Lars says he looks like Mark Goodman. So what you can tell about that?
Right, that was one of the more memorable presentations, and basically talking about cybercrime and how this is a growing problem. And
yes.
And as we mentioned earlier about this crowdsourcing and gamifying in environmental problems, he also is of the opinion that we need bigger weaponry to fight this. He actually mentioned that it's about 10 to 15% of the world GDP that's how much crime constitutes. So that's
all
huge.
crime or cybercrime?
All crime.
All crime.
So, but like our criminals are very much on the forefront of adopting fancy technology. He mentioned, for instance, the mafia in Mexico. They have one of the more advanced towers everywhere with encryption and whatnot.
Wow.
They have their own cell tower network.
Technology is powerful. It can change the course of the world.
Right. So and Silk Road, another good example of.
Yes, I've heard about Silk Road. It was started by a guy who was fairly young to be. He was around 29?
Right.
When he was arrested. He and Silk Road is used to sell all sorts of illegal things. And when the guy got caught, he had $80 million in assets because of Silk Road.
And they had more than $1 billion of sales.
Yes.
So that's
I
amazing.
think it's important if those bad organizations able to get technology in their hands so fast and so quickly, we need to make sure that technology available to everyone much faster rate and cheaper probably to help us to stay tuned with technology and use it for good.
Yeah, so that the overall good of technology really does outweigh its negative effects, like Silk Road.
Right. So Mark Goodman, he is the founder of something called the Future Crimes Institute. So he's very much involved in writing blog posts and articles and talking about this growing issue and how this is not just something that the FBI and the police has the capacity to tackle that it's growing at such an exponential rate that something has to more people have to get involved and to help out in this constant battle.
So again, they're talking about crowdsourcing, where people aware of the crime and they can share that information between each other.
Yes.
So it's not only to use for the crime, but you can use now technologies, the cell phones, the cameras, recognizable features from crowd to help to solve the crime.
Yeah, that would. Technology has made crimes much easier to identify and solve, because of all the things like we have, like facial recognition, all the computers and all the things are backed up and data stored.
So what's fascinating about Singularity University is that they have this executive program. It costs $12,000 for pretty much a week, and you go there and you talk to these people and they say that it's worth every dollar. And when you hear those speakers that come by and how they kind of like give you a taste of the future, or like you get put things in such a perspective that you can understand what's actually going out there, then you start understanding that it might actually be be worth the price for whoever has that kind of money. But like a lot of people actually, put down a major chunk of their savings to go to an event like this, and they would come from all over the world. Like there was a lot of people from Switzerland and Brazil and
Italy. I mean, I had the chance to meet Ellie Coffee. Yes, coffee, like ELLY. That's the company. Very good coffee, very tasteful. So the chairman, which is like third generation of the family who started that coffee trend, was there.
Wow.
Yes, and he also took this course because he was interested how he can look into new solution to provide his employees and also the company growth.
Yes,
and be better for the community. So not only good, tasteful coffee, but obviously to know that your employees happy, that they can have good set of mind and they can be creative as well.
Yes, and technology would be extremely helpful in all this, and I guess the information that's given in this would be definitely invaluable to him.
Yeah, because for instance, like from India, they had a lot of spicy food, and that food usually spicy because hot weather.
Yeah.
But what I learned that in 1800, the ice was given to India,
Really?
like ice. But at the same time, at that time, no ice machines were available.
Oh yeah,
so they would deliver chunk of ice.
They would deliver large chunks of ice?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, the first refrigerator in existence basically was something that where you would put your ice in one shelf, and then that would keep the rest cool. That was the original refrigerator. So ice was a major market, but like he was telling stories about like how there was this transportation going on, but then also how
that was David Roberts was talking about that.
Right,
yes.
right. But also how like he mentioned some interesting properties of ice, that if you build an ice house, after the whole summer you only have 6 inches of that ice shaved off towards the end of it.
It's only 6 inches over the whole summer of ice is gone.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's when if you build it similar to an Eskimo
Igloo.
cage. Yeah, igloo. Yeah.
So you really could live in an ice house for pretty much like forever.
Well, so that's how he was able to like store the ice and then kind of radically. So there was like this disruptions to the industry, and then towards the end he also mentioned that there was the artificial ice coming up, right?
Yeah.
So instead of just finding actual ice and then transporting it, you would you produce it yourself.
Yeah.
And then people would be skeptical towards that. And, some of the things we take for granted today was it was not obvious back then. People thought that the real ice was more pure and more genuine, and than the artificial one. And now the opposite is
yes, because you kind of trust the ice that's in your freezer, but if you just find snow on the ground, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Right.
No, don't put it in the mouth. Now, Singularity University not far away. It's at NASA Research Park, which located in Moffett Field, California, in 101 freeway. As you saw.
101. Oh.
Yeah, it used to be Army Center and now and NASA Research Center, and they're lucky enough to share that with Singularity University. So students live there for a week, and then they study from 8:30 in the morning until 10 p.m. Okay, that's very intense. This is not school for you.
That sounds more intense in school.
And then they have lots of information. Also, I was impressed with some of the startups they already had there created at Singularity University. The owners of the companies who went through the program and sharing how that's helped them to reach a much higher level of success in their life, of course, get more fundings. For instance, one of the glowing plant, they created a genetically modified glowing plant, and they put that information on crowdsourcing platform and got $484,000 because everybody wanted to have piece of glowing plant.
I definitely would. A glowing plant would be very interesting.
Okay, we have a phone call and we have to pick up that phone call.